Hello, Davi Agenda. I'm here, and this message came to you. It found you for a reason, and it's up to you on whether or not you want to tune into it. And if you decide to tune into it, I feel like it could have some great benefit. And I say that because I tune into the reality where everything is connected. There's no such thing as coincidences. Our divine intelligence is constantly working in our favor. And you may ask, like, what is divine intelligence? Well, divine intelligence is the energy that's inside of you, the energy that you are feeling, and therefore it's rippling out and it's rearranging things in the quantum realm to make it so that it is. You know that whole phrase, I think therefore I am, and you think therefore it is. And it's very much the basis of our reality. We've been told that our reality is as we see it, right? So if there is misfortune or sadness or all of these awful horrors of a reality, like, that is what it is, and that's how it'll always be. And that is what suffering is. That suffering is tuning into that version of reality and saying, if only this were this way, and then, but it's not. These are the cards that I've been dealt, and so on and so forth. And you know what? I was born into that reality too. We all were. We were told what our waking reality is, and that there are certain things that we have to do to get to the certain points that we want to get to, and that there are only certain methods to get to where we want. And I'm going to tell you, no, we are in control of our suffering. And then you point out, look, but this is happening to these people, and this is happening. Yes, I get it. Sometimes we don't get to choose where we start off, right? All we're truly aware of is what's happening right now in our vicinity. What we are experiencing right now, that is the realest thing. But it's not something that has to continue on. I could tell you countless stories that include so much suffering, and I've felt all the deepest levels of despair over so many different phases of my life. And that's why I'm able to resonate with so many different people when they're going through certain things, and they may look at me and I'm like offering out this advice and it's like ringing so true, and then there could be this little bit of disconnect, and it's like, but how could you experience, like, that's not who you are. It's like, but it's what I've experienced. I've experienced human suffering, right? I live in this reality too, where I have the option to tune into that suffering. I am human, right? So I am a light being in a vessel, and so these vessels are meant to hold energies, right? So we feel emotions, and what those emotions are, it's information. If you're feeling sadness about something, it's because there's something that is not resonating with the core of your being. If you're feeling anger about something, it's because there's discord in your body. Something about your waking reality is not how you wish it to be, but you don't have to be stuck. And when I explain how you can get to those moments, right, those moments where you are in charge again, some folks will want to debate about it because it really is simple. It's so simple. I woke up this rising feeling something, and I could have chose to stay in that feeling, but then I recognized it. I took that information as, oh, it's because something is not happening right now in the way that I wish it to. But it doesn't mean that it's stuck like that forever. I can tune into what I want to feel, and that doesn't mean that it's not authentic, because it is a feeling that I want. And if you work with your divine intelligence will be like, oh, okay, this is the frequency that they're resonating. So it's rearranging things. It's working on a quantum level to work with the other beings that are in this game with us. Some things happen, and I feel like I'm being very vague, so maybe I need to narrow it down. But like when you're feeling like you miss somebody or you want to talk to somebody and then they happen to call you or happen to text you or happen to show up, it's because they were in a path of least resistance. They were able to sway. Maybe they were tuned into that as well. And now they do it because they have the opportunity to, even if it happens like a week later. And I'll tell you the method in just a moment. I speak about this a lot, I feel, even though I haven't made a video in a while. I feel like when I do make videos or when I do talk to people, it's about the same thing over and over again. And something I was sitting with, and I'm going to touch on plant medicine because this keeps coming up, and I find a little bit of, like, I understand, I empathize, and I sympathize, and I truly understand the approach with plant medicine, where people feel like, you know, there's an increasing desire for plant medicine because people are just tired of feeling what they're feeling, right? Tired of being sad, tired of being stuck, just want a whole new, like, a world shift. And you can do that with plant medicine, but it's not the only way. And that's why I feel like people are using the what ifs about their life situations, like, well, I can't access the plant medicine, or I'm not curious enough about this thing, and I haven't found the right shaman to help me get through this thing in order to make changes in my life. And it's like, well, because you don't actually need it. Yes, it is a tool, but I've lost my desire to seek out plant medicine. And I have people around me who are like swear by it because it helped them at one point in their life, but it's not helping them now, right? Or they've heard other stories and that's why they want to go do it, and they want to hear my take on it. And I'm just like, I like plant medicine. I love plants in general. I work with the plants on a biological level, on a telepathic level, and it's just like everything else in this world that we can energetically touch. When we consume things, we're energetically touching them in our bodies. We're resonating at that frequency. So I won't even get into the whole like animal part of this. I mainly like want to focus on the fact that like we can change our life by tuning into the energy. We don't have to consume an energy or work with an energy from a plant in order to get that. Yes, it's a tool, but you still have to hold on. And you know how many people I know who have gone off to ayahuasca ceremonies and they've had, you know, they've got into these deep darkness parts of themselves and they're so ready to change, and then they're like that for like 3 months, and then they falter back to the frequency they were at before, into the pits of despair and depression and sadness, and life isn't aligned anymore. Like that luster has lost it. It's because when that plant medicine is in you and the spirit is working with you, you're resonating at that frequency with it, but it's up to you to maintain that. And so you don't even have to get to the plant to get to that point. If you need to, that's great, but you still have to do the same thing I'm going to tell you to do. You still have to tune into the frequency of what you want. I've gotten out of crazy situations where I found myself pregnant with somebody who wanted multiple wives, right? And I was in a very limited lifestyle where like I couldn't dress the way I wanted to dress. I couldn't eat what I wanted to eat when I wanted to eat. And I have very high standards. If you know me, I have high standards about what I consume. And I couldn't, you know, talk to the people I wanted to do. And it was like all this external thing. I felt like this person was controlling the way everything was. And, you know, it put me into a pit of depression because I'm like, oh, I'm stuck in this unfortunate situation. It's like, no. You know how I got out of it? One day, I was so sad, so like in the lowest frequency, and those moments are amazing. I know it doesn't feel good when you're in it because all these thoughts come and all these entities come and they put thoughts into your head, and then you want to go with it because they're touching on these little fractures or like densities from different, like densities in terms of like your energetic chakras. All of your different chakras have layers and layers of information from throughout your life, from past lives, from all these things, but still it's like little programs that are in there. And so whenever those programs are something that aren't really in coherence with your internal I am, what happens is entities can see it, attach onto it, exacerbate it, because everybody wants to, not every, just like there's spirits out there who wish that they had the opportunity that we have to be in these physical vessels, because a lot of us haven't tapped into the full potential. I haven't even tapped into the full potential, but I'm so curious about it, which is why I also do this work, because I know it works. So anyways, in the pit of despair. And so I'm getting to know all these feelings that I'm having, all of these areas of my life that aren't in alignment. And even though this is an extreme example, like this happens just even with minute sadness or discomfort, right? It's all information. And my guides told me, tune into what you want. Imagine what it is you want. So even though I didn't feel free, even though I didn't feel happy, even though I didn't feel peace, even though I didn't feel loved, even though I didn't feel light in my body, those were the base foundation of what I tuned into. So I wanted to feel happiness, right? So I'm in the shower and I'm just tuning into it. I'm like, happy. Like, well, what would it feel like in my body to be happy? I'm not saying if this situation was a certain way, then I'm happy. I was like, no, what does it feel like to be happy? And so I'm tuning into it. And I was like, oh, like giddiness. Like, there's just fuzziness in my body. And I feel like I want to laugh. And I just love that feeling. Okay, now peace. What does it feel like to be peaceful? Okay, and so I tuned into a moment where I was in the middle of a frozen lake and there were trees all around me. For that moment, I felt peace. I felt stillness of the energy around me. And so I feel stillness into myself. That was peace for me. What does it feel like to be loved? And I felt like what an embrace would feel like, what connection would feel like with another person, with other beings, like with plants. Like, what does it feel like? Because to me, love is that connection, right? It's this oneness. And what does it feel like to be light? And lightness to me felt like I wasn't having tension in my body, right? I'm not tense up here where emotions store. I'm not tense in the back of my, the base of my spine where financial burden is stored. I'm not feeling pain in my wrists and my hands and my ankles and my hips. I'm not feeling any of that. And so I just imagine, like, what would it feel like to not have it? And you know what? Like, I'm getting small ripples of this throughout. In gratitude, right? I was like, what am I grateful for? And when I feel like gratitude for certain things, even if it's simple as like, I feel grateful to have a home, and that security sets in, no matter what the dynamics of it are, right? I feel shelter. I feel not being in the rain, and the cold, the high. I feel blessed to have food. And so, like, I'm tuning into all these feelings. And then I get out of the shower and I'm in my reality again, right? But there's little remnants of that ripple out as I'm navigating life. That's showing me all of the things that aren't. But I see the world as all the things that are making us feel a certain way. It's just like this energetic clash. That's just energetic debris from how you felt in the past that continue it to perpetuate. Because the longer that you stay in the feelings of sadness and despair and discomfort and unalignment and all of that, the more it happens, right? Because you're reverberating out and your divine intelligence is shooting out more like, oh, this is what we're resonating at. So like, here's more opportunities to feel it. And then you start seeing it everywhere. Just like if you like a certain car and you start tuning into it everywhere, right? It's like, it's the same thing. Your energy body is doing that on micro different levels and showing you more friendships that might cause the same things, or relationships that might cause the same things, or foods that make you feel a certain way, or living situations that are a certain way, or different dynamics and work stuff, and all of this. It's just like more and more and more. But I felt it. Navigate. Don't like. Next day in the shower again, like just choosing a point in the day to keep feeling it. And so I didn't know when it was going to happen, but one very important thing is, in the moment I was feeling what I wanted to feel. And I also had faith that it's not always going to be the way that it is right now, because it takes time for your divine intelligence to work in the background Just like it takes time sometimes for a friend to reach out to you, because it depends on what else is in the field and what the other people are dealing with, or what situations need to be, like, there's a lot that has to be worked out in the background, and it's all based off of a free will of what those individuals are actually experiencing during that time as well, right? And so time, it just, everything happens in divine time, right? We're the only ones subscribing to it and can even feel the length of it. We could also shorten it, but expansion time is something completely different. And so in reality, it took 3 months. It took 3 months until I felt all those things for real. And that's just how it happened to like line up for everything. Is I felt like I was kind of like, I was starting to feel better in the situations that I'm in, right? Like making peace with everything. And then one day, it was literally there. I felt like, oh, things are finally going in micro ways, like in the way that I've been wishing for. Just like one moment. And literally the next day, it all shattered. And I was homeless with a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old, no money, nowhere to live. And I remember for a moment, I felt all of this anger that I had suppressed, it just arised, and I let out this scream in like confusion. It was just like this energy release. And after the energy was gone, I was like, okay. And I just navigated. And I remember feeling later that day, I was driving in my car, because I still had a car, luckily. I still had my car. And I suddenly felt this freedom. I suddenly felt this lightness, because there was a detachment from a lot of the energies that I had been experiencing that were helping to keep me in that state, because I was no longer in resonance with them, right? And I felt loved from so many different angles. And I felt peace, because I wasn't connected to the energies and the situations anymore. Even though I had no idea what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, I just knew, whoa, everything that I had been wishing to have in my waking reality, that I was taking those moments to feel into, it suddenly happened. And so that's a dramatic situation, a whole life change. But it doesn't have to be these grandiose, life-changing experiences. It could literally be tiny tweaks. And that's what I do in my waking reality right now. I feel a little bit of something. I let myself feel it, because it's information. I get the information from it. And then I don't stay and wallow in it. And I just tune into what I want. And this term pops into my head, because somebody said it like so many years ago, like way before I even had children and everything, because I was posting online a lot, and they're like, ever heard of spiritual bypassing? Because I think at the time, it was another energetic shift. I was feeling not in alignment with my restaurant anymore. I didn't really want to be serving people fried food. I didn't want to be doing that. I was past that point. And I was working so much all day, and I was like, I don't really want my entire life to just be work and feeling like I need to be a martyr in order for good things to happen and for other people to experience this thing. And so things in my reality started changing. Like, there were like floods in my restaurant over and over again. And I remember just one day, like, I posted a video and I was just dancing in the water, because I'm like, I'm navigating this shit, and I don't know. I'm going with it, because I feel great change. And because I wasn't feeling into the, oh my gosh, this is absolutely horrible because everything is falling apart. Somebody said it was spiritual bypassing, and it's like, no, we get to choose what we're experiencing, and we can choose to continue and suffer. We can take plant medicine and dive into these deepest, darkest aspects of ourselves and either hold on to it, or you get the opportunity to let it go. And you don't even need plant medicine to get to that point. You can just look at your reality, feel the emotions you're feeling, and say, I don't want to feel this. And it's not saying, oh, I'm going to suppress this emotion. It's like, no, I'm going to tune into what I do want to feel, and then my reality is going to show it. And it might take some time, but as long as I'm tuning into what it is I want, I can. So if I'm feeling like sad because I want some connection, some more connection on a different level, I can feel that. I can feel the sadness, understand, oh, it's because I want connection. And then I can tune into, okay, well, what does connection even feel like to me? Because you have to know exactly what you want for it to happen. You stay in the sadness, you're just going to see more of the things that are making you sad. But if you tune into what you actually want out of it, you're going to start seeing the evidence of that in your waking reality too. And so, like, tuning into the connection, like, what is that? What kind of connection? Like, what feeling does it give me in my body? And then you just trust that it's going to happen, and then you see that it will happen. And I feel like I said, this is a lesson that that takes a lot of practice, because we are so programmed to stay stuck in our feelings and think that our reality has to be the way it is. And then a lot of people that have followed my journey, and they've seen snippets of like the things that I've gone through, they'll see me now and they're just like, Davi, you manifested this. And it's not by some luck thing. It's by knowing what you want and aligning to it, and saying no to the things that aren't it, by choosing not to subscribe to those things that aren't it, right? It doesn't mean you have to like go and make a dramatic life change. You have to completely move somewhere else to feel it, because you're going to have the same energy that you left with, and you're going to experience it wherever you are, right? So why not just do the energy work where you are, so that whenever an opportunity aligns, if it is really getting somewhere else, it's in the most aligned place. Or if it is experiencing something on a certain level, like, everything will line up for itself. And I know there's this counter argument about, oh, well, it takes action. Like, you have to want something, you have to put energy towards doing it. And it's like, yes, you can do a lot. You can do so much and get nowhere. You can keep grinding, keep stressing, keep feeling like you're not doing enough. But really, you're not being enough. You gotta be the energy of what you want, or else the action that you're putting towards something, yes, you will get results, right? You can till a garden and have a till on your back, or be using a hoe, or whatever you want to do, and be doing all of this physical labor, and you will get your garden bed. And sometimes you can tune into wanting the garden bed and start putting things in motion to make it happen. And maybe there's like a volunteer force, or maybe there's like a crazy storm that just like washes a bunch of whatever rubbish away. It's like you gotta leave opportunities for the divine to step in, because maybe you don't have to suffer to get what you want, you know? Like, having goals is nice, and aligning yourself towards that, doing things that feel good, that are in the same like subject area, help. Even if you don't know exactly what it is that you want to be doing, or where you exactly want to be, as long as you're tuning your energy field to what it would feel like, you're going to find yourself taking action in ways that just feel aligned for it. And I just hear all these counter arguments, and I just feel like it's so simple. Just tune into what it is you want. Like, even I manifested a reality that is way more in alignment with me than what I was experiencing before. And there's still areas that can be tuned and tweaked, because that's the thing about this human potential, is like, once you obtain what you want, you realize that there could be more. Like, you don't have to just settle on the experience that you have. You can tweak it, and it's not selfish. It's like you're in control. Like, you have an energy body, which means you can be in charge of your energy, which means you don't have to feel these residual feelings. And it's all information. So much disharmony in our life is information. The ailments we have in our bodies are information. And sometimes, we let our bodies get to a point where we're in so much pain, and our body's screaming for change. And it will take time to get out of that, because there's energetic debris from what you caused, but you don't have to have a whole life of suffering. And the systems that are in place right now, they manage our waking reality. Like our medical system, they manage and try to help us through the ailments that we're facing on a very physical level, right? And so there can be relief in that, and then sometimes there's like, you go back into whatever it is that you're experiencing, just like with the plant medicines and getting with certain emotional things, you go back into what you were experiencing before because your energy is still resonating on that. So it's not enough just to seek these external physical things for support. You've got to do the energy work as well so that you can maintain whatever it is that is on the other side of that, you know? Get the relief and then tune into the reality where that is your norm. Does that help at all? Let me know if it helps. Because I feel like there's something that I'm missing when I'm conveying it. Maybe it's because it feels really simple to me. Maybe because like I've done it so much in my life and I've seen so many dramatic things change, and I still see more opportunity for things to shift, and I tune into the magic, and I feel the resistance around me, but I also feel less resistance around me from those that are seeking the truth and that want it. And I also understand, because I'm human and I navigate life as well, and we're coexisting with so many beings that are navigating too, and they're trying to figure out things. And maybe that's why some people get into these environments where it's extremely supportive while they need it to be supportive, and then they're out of resonance with it because they've gotten all the support that they can from it. Now they're resonating on a different level and want to be somewhere else. And it's just like, it's okay. It's actually completely okay to resonate with something for a little bit and then want to change things up or tune, refine, because it's your life that you're living, and this is what you're completely aware of right now. You know, so why not tune into the reality that you want? Yeah, you're going to have the suffering around you. You're still going to be experiencing it on a daily, but not forever, right? You can see miracles happen all the time. And one thing I'm really fascinated in is the world of the unseen, because you don't see energy, right? You see the effects of it. You feel the effects of it. And what's more real than what you're feeling? That is the most real. You could be feeling super, super sad, right? Then you go into somewhere and nobody knows that. They don't really know what you're experiencing or why you're experiencing it. But you do. And it could appear on the outside like you're fine. Like you're completely fine. Nobody's going to know that. You're the only one who knows what you're experiencing. You're the only one who knows your discomfort. You're the only one who knows your sadness. You're the only one who knows the areas of your life that need to change. And just because you don't know how to change them doesn't mean that you can't change them. You can leave a lot up to the invisible by tuning into what you do want to feel. Just for a moment. You can go back into the sadness if you want, but just understand that whatever energy that you're feeling, if you're not using that opportunity of sadness or anger or pain or grief or whatever to decode into what you actually do want, and you feel into what you want, you're going to continue to live in that cycle of all of it. And it's like this energetic wheel. The more that you feel abundant, connected, loved, peaceful, all of that, the more opportunities you give yourself throughout the day, even if that means going on a walk, because in that action it would force you to move energy and force you to see something else, or going on a trip. Like, those are all temporary things. It still comes back to the same motion, notion, action of allowing yourself to feel more of that more often. You know, this has been a long video already. I just want to touch on one more example. When I was a child, I used to read books to escape into these magical realms of all of this fantastical stuff, right? And I'm feeling all the energies of everything that I'm reading while I'm reading the book, and then I come out of it, and the reality is very different from the reality that I read in the book, right? It's everything looks different, everything feels different, there's different characters, but I allow myself to feel those different things, and so that feels good. And there's escapism, right? People say, oh, you just escaped into that so you don't have to experience your reality. It's like, no, you gave yourself an opportunity to feel that, and then you navigated reality, because we need a balance. A lot of this pre-programmed stuff that we're experiencing, it's just that. It's pre-programmed stuff that we're experiencing. We don't have to experience that all the time, and you don't have to be stuck in the reality that you're stuck in. You don't have to feel what you're feeling all the time. Use it as information and tune into what you want. And I'm going to leave you with the practice outside of just feeling what it is that you want, just by like meditating or daydreaming. Every time you have an opportunity to drink, to eat, hold your hands on your cup, put your hands over your food, and feel for a moment what it is. Because it gives you several opportunities during the day to feel the thing that you want to feel. And what else is it doing? Our hands have all these energy chakras in them, and so you're putting the energy into the food. You're charging it. You're charging your drinks. If you look up Dr. Emoto's water experiments, you can see the effect of the energy that's put onto all these things. And so when you're consuming the energy of what it is that you've just charged it with, you're giving your body more resonance of that, and let the magic unfold. Anyways, I hope this has helped. If you stayed this long, good for you. Use the information. All right, love you guys. Bye.